Death is often cast as the ultimate adversary, a fearsome boundary that every living being must face and from which many seek refuge or denial. Yet, beneath the surface of dread and sorrow lies a paradox that has whispered through the ages in the tongues of sages, poets, and mystics. Death is not merely an end, but an essential force, an agent of transformation both spiritual and ecological, a necessary condition for life itself to unfold and evolve. To understand why we need death is to enter a realm where existence reveals itself not as a static, permanent state but as a delicate interplay of beginnings and endings, of dissolution and renewal, where mortality shapes the very fabric of being and consciousness. At the most primal level, death serves as a vital component in the vast cycles of nature. Forests burn, rivers change course, creatures are born and die in an endless rhythm, each passing making room for new life. This cycle, often called the Great Circle of Life, reflects a profound ecological truth. Without death, life as we know it would stagnate, suffocate, and collapse. The decay of organic matter returns nutrients to the earth, feeding the soil that nourishes new growth. The demise of one species opens ecological niches for others to thrive. Even at the cellular level, the programmed death of cells, apoptosis, is crucial for healthy development and renewal. Death is the force that clears the old to make space for the new. Weaving the complex tapestry of biodiversity and planetary vitality, yet death's role transcends the ecological, entering the sacred realm of spiritual and psychological transformation. Ancient wisdom traditions recognize mortality as the crucible in which consciousness is refined and awakened. The awareness of death invites a confrontation with the ephemeral nature of all things, stripping away illusions of permanence and self-centeredness. It humbles, teaches detachment, and inspires a deeper appreciation for the preciousness of each moment. In many spiritual paths, death is seen not as a terror but as a guide, a threshold that calls the soul to transcend worldly attachments and to remember its eternal essence. The cycles of death and rebirth, reincarnation, or spiritual transformation echo this understanding, portraying death as a passage rather than a final cessation. Philosophically, the necessity of death challenges the human craving for immortality, revealing a hidden wisdom, that meaning itself arises from finitude. A life without death would lose its urgency, its poignancy, its depth. It is the shadow of mortality that casts the light of significance on our choices, relationships, and creations. Knowing we must die sharpens the focus of our existence, compelling us to seek purpose beyond mere survival. This paradox, that the end imparts meaning to the journey, has echoed through the reflections of thinkers from Heidegger to the mystics of the East. Uniting the existential with the spiritual, moreover, death is intimately connected to the evolution of consciousness, both individually and collectively. Each death carries a subtle alchemy, releasing energies that contribute to the greater whole, transforming personal narratives into shared memory and myth. In this way, mortality is not isolation but communion, a thread that binds generations and species into the unfolding story of life on Earth. The rituals surrounding death across cultures, mourning, remembrance, rites of passage, attest to humanity's deep recognition that death is not the negation of life but its continuation in another form, whether through memory, spirit, or ecological legacy. In contemporary times, as science and technology push the boundaries of life extension and challenge traditional views of mortality, the spiritual and ecological imperatives of death may seem endangered or forgotten. Yet this very moment invites a renewed contemplation of why death remains necessary, not only to preserve the health of ecosystems but to nurture the growth of wisdom, compassion, and humility within the human soul. Death, paradoxically, teaches us how to live fully, to embrace impermanence, to honor the cycles that shape existence, and to awaken to a reality where every ending is the seed of a new beginning. To need death is to recognize that life and death are inseparable, woven into a sacred dance that shapes the cosmos itself. It is in this dance that the mystery of existence unfolds, an eternal becoming where mortality is not a curse, but a profound gift, inviting us to surrender, transform, and ultimately to transcend.